Hello everyone, time for another top 10 list, this time on my top 10 Cardfight Vanguard original series Cardfights. So basically, how I rank them is how memorable the fight is, the character interactions, and the moments between the fights. And if you want, let's also include character development as well. But other than that, let's begin. For my number 10, it's Takedo versus Reverse Takedo. First off, I love the fact that Azo returned after for so long. And then we got Grand Azo Scissors unlocking, which the turn he did it, failed. And then we got Omega Glendios, which had a lot of surprising abilities during the time it was first revealed. First off, the call of a reverse unit. I bet for most people's reaction, people were going like, what? And then the introduce of Omega Lock. Yeah, no unlocking during the end phase of the next turn. And then we got the ultimate break, the first card with a limit break and an ultimate break, where he automatically wins the game, aka Exodia. Which was pretty shocking to many people, even to me, because I never thought they were going to make such a card in Vanguard at the time. And it's during its third year. So yeah, overall it's Azo and Glendios are my favorite things for this fight. Number 9. Aichi vs Kai, episode 49 and 50. So one of my favorite things about this fight is the setup where Kai is trying to show Aichi that he's weak for using Psyqualia and using cards that are not his, and literally fought Aichi with his own deck. There's also Kai's backstory, which honestly I prefer the V version of his backstory. The clashing between Blaster Blade and Dark, the Kai and Aichi version. Aichi's failed final turn. And then Kai's final turn where he rides Alfred early and then calls Blaster Blade from Soul, with Blaster Blade and Kai reminding Aichi what kind of strength he had before he took Shadow Paladins. Although my main issue with this fight is how they took Kai's backstory in the second half of the episode, and Aichi was technically just standing there, waiting for Kai's turn. Number 8. Gallard vs Sarah. First off, I love Gallard's loyalty to Aichi, and the setup against the traitorous, untrustworthy Sarah, who just wants ultimate power and betraying Aichi's trust. And to Gallard, Aichi is his savior, even asking Sarah does he have any compassion towards Aichi. And Sarah just pretty much responds that he's weak and too trustworthy to everyone. And the fight itself was pretty good with the character interactions, like Gallard's Promin's Glare along with his Legion. Don't know why he already has that, but advertisement, right? And then Sarah unleashing his final turn with Venom Dancer and failed. And then Gallard's final turn with Sarah seeing the spirits of the other Quadra Knights, and Gallard acknowledging the idea of bonds together really made this fight memorable, especially the final blow with Promin's Glare. And then the end result of the fight where Sarah loses and burns, to the final result where he lost his title as Quadra Knight. Especially it's a good fight and development for characters outside the main cast. Number 7. Kai vs Ren, episode 57 and 8. So why I like this fight is the setup and tension between Kai and Ren already. The easiest way to say it is Kai just wants Ren back, the original Ren who was all happy and smiling, instead of consumed with power. The fight itself is pretty good, but not much happens until the first cross ride ever revealed, Dragonic Overlord the End appears. And then the problem will arise within the next episode where literally we have to wait half an episode just for Kai to make his move, because interrupted with flashbacks by Tetsu's point of view. Although during the Dragonic Overlord the End turn, I absolutely love the moment where Kai was attempting to finish it with the End. And while that is happening, it was going slow motion with Kai remembering all the memories they had. I absolutely love it. And totally failed his final turn. And then Ren calls out his final turn and unleashed Phantom Blaster Overlord. And I absolutely love some of the shots between the clashing Overlords. Especially the final blow where Phantom Blaster Overlord stabs the End, which is a visualization of killing the End. So overall, the fight is pretty okay, the tension between is good, but some stuff was slow. Number 6. Leon vs Reverse Kenji, 137 and 138. So I already like this setup of the fight and the symbolism. Both have righteous justice, but one is corrupted tyrannical justice. And Leon was preparing his fight against Ren and found out that Kenji has defeated Ren before. And then during the fight itself, Reverse Kenji taunting Leon about Aqua Force being weak, and that he's gonna either take it or destroy it, and then Superior riding Reverse Dayusha while Leon is still at grade 1. Yeah, you know that feeling, right? Your opponent's at grade 3 while you're still at grade 1. And then we go to the part where his other 2 teammates lost right in front of him, and end up turning reverse. And then Leon giving a speech about all 3 of them are still together even if they're not by his side, with the tyrannical Emperor's final turn, and Leon barely surviving to ride his Tetra Drive Dragon with its first appearance, which was pretty awesome by the way, and that one big restand and the final blow. And also the fact that we got more development for Leon was also a plus for me as well. Number 5, Ren vs Reverse Kai, episode 158 and 159. So basically this is a rematch and a callback to their first fight but role reverse, which there was set up for because Ren wants revenge on whoever reversed Tetsu and his teammates, and also the idea where he wants to fight a strong fighter, which Kai also wants to become the strongest fighter as well. So the tension between these two were already really strong. I especially like the callback between their very first fight in the show, the End versus Phantom Blaster Overlord, and that Kai was also using Kagero, which was a surprise to me because I was expecting him to use Link Joker and show that silhouette unit that Takedo used. And at the end of part 1, we got the crazy powered Kai at the end. And then we go to part 2 of the fight where Ren uses Drag Ruler Phantom for his failed final turn, and the amount of effort he tries to finish it, and failed. And then Kai using Dragonic Overlord the Rebirth, which looks amazing in its turn, and a strong first appearance. And then its skill cost that actually locks all your own rear guards for its skill. The triple restand happening with the shot of the clashing dragons, and Ren admitting that he already lost because he ran out of heal triggers. So overall, really good fight and strong character interactions. Number 4, Aichi vs Reverse Takedo, episode 160 and 161. So the setup is already there. Aichi, the only one left who could stop Link Jokers and chosen by original Takedo, and the leader of Vanguards, the only one left, steps up to the plate. Him taking physical damage while fighting brings a lot more tension. And then we got the Omega Glendios turns with the taunting happening, while at the same time everyone else is just fighting. And then I love the scene where Takedo locks the top card of Aichi's deck, so now there's 5 locked rear guards, and then there seems to be no hope left, while Takedo taunts Aichi about Korin. And in the world end Link Joker invasion, and even with all that, everyone continues fighting like it's the last stand, and I like it. Aichi's speech along with his confession, kind of. And then Monarch of Black Sanctuary Alfred would liberate the lock at the final moment, with the shot of Alfred standing along with the other units, and the final blow with the last of Reverse Takedo. And in the setup between Aichi versus Kai. Number 3, Kai vs Gallard, episode 184 and 185. First off, this is a fight where we could say Kai is back. There was already a rivalry in the beginning of Legion Mate between these two, and I consider Gallard as the opposition rival to Kai. Kai already lost to Gallard once, so obviously that's already a build-up right there. And ever since then, he's been trying to figure out a way to beat the Quadra Knights, in which Kagero represents his very soul. While during his time using Royal Paladin during the first half of the season, he was using his own friend's pout. We also get Gallard's backstory about him losing his own family and his own home, and how he became an orphan, and then as he grew up he eventually took care of an orphanage, and how that was another family to him. And then that one day they got reversed, which absolutely hurt him, showing his anger to Kai, and also his very loyalty to Aichi, and what Aichi means to him. And in the very next turn, where Kai performs Legion, and I absolutely love the shot of Kai showing his psycho face, burning everything down. And then we get that one flashback where how Gallard met Aichi, And that final turn he tries to pull with that one shot where Vortex Dragonaut gets shot in the face, and Kai admitting what he's done in the Link Joker season was wrong and needs to be punished. And then he finally gives Galard the answer about what color are his flames, which for Kagero it's perfect. And also telling no matter what he has to help Aichi even if he wishes not for him to do so. And then the final attack looks absolutely awesome, and the judgment scene against Galard with Kai showing his flame color. So yeah, one of my favorite fights overall. And then number 2, Aichi vs Ren, 63 to 65, the only 3-episode fight throughout the franchise so far. So first off, the build-up was already there. They're both Psyqualia players. Aichi is trying to prove to Kai that he's a strong fighter and wants to fight Kai again without Psyqualia. And Kai was also some sort of big brother mentor figure to Aichi, which has lost to Ren, which is his current opponent. So obviously he needs to show that he's capable of the challenge as well. The interaction between Aichi and Ren was great, especially with Ren taunting Aichi and the clash between Blaster Blade and Dark. I like that shot of Phantom Blaster Dragon grabbing Aichi. And then that next turn where Aichi calls Blaster Dark, which was very surprising to me. A Shadow Paladin in a Royal Paladin deck. And then the turn with Phantom Blaster Overlord to Aichi bringing out Majesty Lord Blaster, which I also love the symbolism of Blaster Blade and Dark selling their differences and combining their power. And also Ren's memory scene with the visualization of Majesty Lord Blaster, Blaster Blade and Dark representing their old friendship, along with the Believe in My Existence soundtrack in it. And also Ren getting a taste of his own medicine, and Aichi afraid of continually using Psyqualia. But before we go to number 1, honorable mentions. Aichi vs Reverse Kai, episode 153 and 154. Setup was there, and it's definitely a nice role reversal of Aichi and Kai when Aichi was possessed with Psyqualia, especially when Aichi loses this one. Aichi vs Leon, because Blaster Blade Spirit, and then there's Ren vs Tetsu and Ren vs Asuka, both fleshing out the character of Ren and his own teammates. And also Ishida vs Sarah, 180 and 181, a challenge for Ishida to overcome against the Quadra Knight and his spirit along with Sarah's backstory. And then Ishida vs Shingo, 149 and 150, along with Ishida vs Korin, 191, for Ishida trying to bring back the whole gang back together. And finally, to my number 1, it's Aichi vs Kai, 162 and 163. So like each one of them, tension is already there. Kai is trying to kill himself but wanting to have one last fight before doing that. And Aichi refusing to accept that, tries to convince Kai not to do that. The flashback scenes and all the callbacks that were happening in before the fight, like how Kai was the one who introduced him to Vanguard and now it's Aichi trying to help him come back to his senses and that there's more to Vanguard than just strength. The break your spell scene with Blaster Blade versus Overlord, nice callback. And Aichi continuing to tell Kai that this is not a goodbye fight, rather this is a fight to try to convince him to stay with them. I like the Dragon Overlord the Rebirth turn, especially that one shot with the Towering Overlord the Rebirth. And one of my favorite scenes of them all is that one callback in the very beginning of the show, but this time Aichi is saying it. A Vanguard fight can only be regained in a Vanguard fight. Absolutely love that callback. And then Aichi telling Kai to imagine it, just like what Kai would tell him in the beginning. And Aichi telling Kai that he is now his Vanguard, just like he was his back in the day. And then the Monarch Sanctuary Alfred turn. And that one big final attack from Blaster Blade. The very card Kai gave him is the card that defeated him. Definitely worth being a final fight and also can work as a ceremonial fight. And also works well as Aichi's final character arc. So that's it for the video, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, this is all based on my opinion. Everyone has their own taste, so don't be angry about it. So go ahead and tell me below what are your top 10. I just gave you mine, so go ahead and tell me yours.